Hey everyone, it's Keri TV, and we just closed, like that door closed, on 12120 Sardis, and we are celebrating, and I have a story to tell you about this home, so stay tuned. So this beautiful 5-bedroom home that we are standing in front of just closed for $2.135 million. And the reason why I'm so excited to do a Keri TV episode on this property is because this is all about being positive and optimistic with whatever situation comes your way. So, for example, I took this listing back in May, and when I took it, it was being leased to a group of it was a sober living home. So there were about 10 to 12 boys here living here. The rooms were all bunk beds. And of course, you know how boys can be sometimes, a little bit messy, a little bit dirty. So it was very difficult to show in general, just because of the condition of the home and working around all these different schedules. So we took it on. We tried to do some new photos. We bought some of the old photos. This is a newer construction home, so it's absolutely beautiful. But of course, when you're a buyer and you're coming into a $2.45 million home, you expect perfection, right? You're a turnkey type of buyer. So coming into this home didn't have that emotional feeling when it wasn't staged. So then they decided to move out. Okay, so we wait a few weeks for them to move out. They moved out, gets cleaned up a bit, but there's still some things that need to be done, painting, etc. So then we go and plan this big open house. We send out flyers to the neighborhood, postcards, we do balloons, we get food. We go to do an open house, and it was in that heat wave. You guys remember that heat wave in like August? Was it August, I think? We get here to do the open house and the power's off. So not only is everybody melting, we don't have cold drinks, it ends up just being such a disaster. The second open house, I end up getting locked out. For some reason, the key was taken. So it was just, the odds were all against me to getting it to look perfect, because I have a very particular system for the way I list properties, to get the emotional feeling, to get the pictures right, everything. So then it was getting near the end of the listing period. Obviously, it's a little difficult to show a property once you get locked out. They ended up deciding to list with another agent, which can happen, of course. So it was disappointing, considering I didn't feel like I got a full shot or the right chance to sell it. So it's okay, I wish them well. But what happens when you have a listing is there's something called an exclusion agreement. This means that anybody that comes to the property when you have it listed, if they come back and buy it afterwards, you still get to be the listing agent on that transaction, and the current listing agent does not receive any compensation for it. Interesting, right? Do you guys know what an exclusion list is? Have you heard of that before? Well, if you're a newer agent watching this, or any agent in general, and you don't get exclusion lists, do it. So every single person that comes to the property, you get their name and register them. So one day, this amazing couple walks in. It was when the power was out, and we had all our food, and they were the sweetest people. They were like dream clients, but I thought they already had an agent. They said they had agent friends, but we ended up following up with each other and chatting. I absolutely love them. So this is back in August. Yes, heat wave, August. So then the property goes off the market. They really love it, but they couldn't do anything until the end of the year. So we stay in touch, they follow it. It gets relisted a month later in October with a different agent. As I said, the property is all cleaned up, power wash, repainted, looks great. But it's got a little bit of a stigma because it's been on a while and the price has changed, different agents, you know, perception seems to be negative for a property like that. This reminds me a little bit of my 94910 deal, the longest escrow of my life. So we wrote an offer in September. It wasn't accepted. This was just before it was relisted. We wrote a couple offers, and then finally in November, this awesome lovely couple were ready to write. So we write an offer, and this time we go for it. We write a great offer. They end up getting accepted by the sellers. So they've had their time on market, they had enough, they took this offer. It had multiple offers at the time, so it ended up being the best offer. So that current agent, unfortunately, did not get any compensation. So I was able to represent this lovely couple who had their heart set on this home. I was able to represent them and the seller, and the day we released contingencies, the other broker sign was taken down from the front yard and taken off the MLS. We didn't nag them to take it down. And then today we just recorded. So and it's January 15th, we record, after getting this listing in May. doing all the opens, power outage, losing it, following up on it, working with this lovely couple, having the exclusion list signed. And the exclusion list was only 6 months, so in a couple months, that wouldn't even been relevant. So this is definitely a story about staying optimistic, staying positive, never getting upset when you lose a client, lose a listing, lose a deal, because you have no idea what's coming around the corner. And when you have somebody's best interest at heart, well, I always have my client's best interest at heart, but I was very concerned with making sure this was a positive outcome for everyone. And the sellers were in a situation where they had some difficult circumstances and it wasn't a traditional sale. So I'm here right now. It is freezing cold outside. Ready to pop some champagne with this awesome couple, and I will be knocking on their door all the time because this house is absolutely gorgeous in Mar Vista, great pocket of Mar Vista. So this is just the tale of getting a listing sold from an exclusion list, staying positive, working with great people, always wanting the best for your clients and everybody involved, and things will come back to you if that's the case. So just sold 12120 Sardis in Mar Vista at 2.135 million. Happy 2019. So we'll see you next week on Keri TV.